Coco Gauff and Naomi Osaka have a lot in common lately. Besides both being major champions, both have had rough summers for their standards and both debuted new coaches here at the China Open. Now they seem to be back on track, delivering strong performances in Beijing. The two will now face off for a spot in the quarterfinals, a match that will be incredibly close for me to call, but I'll give my best shot. I'll also highlight some other matches in both China and Japan and delve into a controversial loophole that Navarro recently exploited. Hey, my name is Christian Bassnight and welcome to Christian's Court, where I cover tennis from all angles. If you haven't yet already, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever I post my post-match thoughts on this Coco-Naomi match. This year brought 5 opportunities for Coco and Naomi Osaka to meet in the stage in the round of 16, but unfortunately Naomi lost early each and every time. She got the job done today though, crushing 60th ranked Katie Volynets 6-3, 6-2. This was some of the best tennis that we've seen from Naomi this year. All aspects of her game were great. Her serve, just the ground strokes, the return to. She hit 4 winners in a row actually to close out the first set, and with 2 aces, 1 forehand and 1 backhand. And then, like I mentioned too just now, the return, which has been an Achilles heel for Naomi this latest comeback, was much better. She got more balls back in play on that return, and that's made a world of difference in this tournament. The stats really show that the match was completely on Osaka's racket. She hit 29 winners to 30 unforced errors, hit 5 aces to 1 double fault, and then she landed 56% of her first serves in the box and won 82% of points off the first serve and 68% of points behind the second, and she did not offer up a single break point. Coco, meanwhile, played her 3rd round match the day prior, having the luxury of playing under the roof during that rainy day of play. She dispatched of another Katie, this one 26-seeded Katie Vulture, 7-5, 6-2. This was a solid performance from Gauff, and it was clearly better than her opening round match against Clara Burel. It really could have been a nice 6-3, 6-2 win for Coco, but she could not serve out the opening set when she had it on her racket at 5-3, but she still did a great job to control it, and it was clear that by the end of the match, she was just simply too solid for the Brit. I've already noticed an improvement in Coco's serving. That's perhaps been the biggest weapon for her in this tournament. Against Vulture, she made 71% of her first serves in, and she had a 73% success rate whenever she made the first serve. And then her ground game too has been very solid, including the forehand, which has had more weight of shot and has been more of a weapon for her in this tournament. She finished with 12 winners to 11 unforced errors. Now, getting into the head-to-head between Gauff and Osaka, it's currently tied at 2 apiece. Their 2019 US Open 3rd round was their first meeting, and Naomi was just too much for the rather inexperienced Coco, beating her 3 in love. Coco got revenge though in the very next slam, the 2020 Australian Open, beating Naomi in straight sets. And Naomi, she was very error prone, so that match really wasn't great from her. At the 2021 Cincinnati Open, Naomi got her lick back. It was a very topsy-turvy match from both, but Osaka's experience definitely got her through in the end. Then in their last meeting, the 2022 San Jose 2nd round, Coco came through in straight sets 4-4, and a lot of that was due to simply her having much more match reps behind her. I think that this will be their best match for sure, this Beijing China Open round of 16. This would be a big test for both, and I'm intrigued to see how Coco will be able to defend her forehand and her second serve withstanding the barrage of power from Osaka. And then for Naomi, does she have the shot/rally tolerance and consistency to outlast the consistent Coco Gauff? Coco would definitely bring a new challenge for Osaka. Volynets, she did get a lot of balls back in play. She's a good mover, but Coco simply has more weapons and more power from the ground, especially from that backhand, to keep Naomi at bay. A lot of times, Osaka just simply overpowered Volynets, and really Katie just had low-key no chance out there. Putintseva had the best of both worlds in this regard, as she had the consistency and the decent power, and she tested Naomi a lot before Osaka dialed in and kind of low-key ran away with the match in the end. I think that Coco will have the confidence of being the higher ranked of the two here in this match, but Coco, however, she's not a great closer, and I think she needs to do a much better job of seizing her opportunities and not letting her opponent, in this case Naomi, back in the match, because Naomi is not going to give up like she low-key kind of did, or she's not going to fade away like she did previously in her previous losses. I think that Patrick Mouratoglou has armed her with a new type of confidence and fight. So when Coco has a chance to close out games, sets, and ultimately maybe even the match, she needs to take them. Also, Naomi low-key is the queen of China. She's currently on a 10-match win streak in China. She's the 2019 champion here in Beijing, so she's on a 9-match win streak here in the city, and then overall 10-match win streak in the country if you include the 2019 WTA finals. She played one round robin match where she beat Petrovitova there. The first serve, I believe, will be huge for both women, even more so Coco. Coco's serve, as I mentioned earlier, has looked better, but I will give Naomi the edge in that department. And I can definitely see Naomi applying a lot of pressure to Coco's second serve. So I think that Gauff needs to make sure that she maintains a relatively higher first serve in percentage for sure. Going off of form, Naomi does look better overall. She's looked great in her previous matches. But the question for me is, can she sustain that same high level for a fourth consecutive match? Naomi has not won 4 matches in a row since the 2024 Miami Open, and I don't really think that it will be more of a physical issue because a lot of her matches here in China have been pretty straightforward. I think we will get a 3-setter. I'm confident that Naomi's excellent form alone will get her at least a set, and plus she seems to raise her level against higher ranked opposition, especially in this latest comeback. And then too, Patrick, of course, who is Naomi's coach, I'm pretty sure would have some solid intel on Coco as he has kind of worked with her a little bit in the past. But I think that Coco's overall solidness and problem-solving capabilities would definitely force a decider at the minimum. Hinting back to the whole match play and fatigue aspect of things, I think that Coco would have more in the tank towards the end of the match, and I think that she will sustain her level well enough in the end to outlast Osaka to advance to the quarterfinals for a second year in a row. So for a final score prediction, I'll have it being 4-6, 6-3, 6-2. Meanwhile, in Beijing, top seed Aryna Sabalenka looked very sharp in her 6-2, 6-2 rout over Ashton Kruger. However, her path to the title does not look easy at all, with her next opponent being Madison Keys, who took down sole champion Beatriz Haddad-Maia 3-3. Karolina Muchova then possibly awaits for Sabalenka in the quarterfinal, and the Czech, she only dropped 8 games in her first 2 matches here in China. I think that she will take care of Kristina Buxa pretty handily. The biggest upset of the tournament was third seed Jasmine Paolini being dominated 4-love by Magda Linette. Linette now plays Mira Andreeva, who scored a 3-6, 6-4, 6-4 comeback win over Donna Vekic. American Amanda Anisimova reached the round of 16 with a 7-6, 6-4 win over 12th seed Daria Kasatkina. She'll be looking for revenge over Qinwen Zhang, who outlasted her in the US Open 4th round last month. Other 4th round matches in the bottom half, aside from Osaka Gauff, include qualifier Yulia Stardupseva versus 10th seed Anna Konskaya, and then the story of the tournament, Antti Shuai Zhang going up against Guadalajara champion Magdalena Freck, and then Paulo Badosa will take on 2nd seed Jessica Pegula. On the men's side, the Chinese locals have a dream semifinal matchup that features 3 slam champions and a home crowd favorite. Carlos Alcaraz and Daniil Medvedev will meet for the 8th time where they play in the semifinals. Alcaraz defeated Medvedev's good friend and Russian Karen Khachanov 7-5, 6-2, while Medvedev took care of Italian Flavio Cobolli 6-2, 6-4. Jannik Sinner escaped Yuri Lehechka 6-2, 7-6, and he saved a couple set points. He now meets China's Bu Yunchaokete, who upset Andrey Rublev 7-5, 6-4 for his biggest career win to date. Bu has been the biggest breakout star of the Asian swing right now. He won a few challenger titles earlier in the year, but he really didn't have a notable result on the main ATP tour until last week's Hangzhou Open, where he reached the Final Four. Now here he is making his first 500 semifinal, and he makes history too as the first ever Chinese man to make it this far in Beijing. He netted his first top 20 win versus Lorenzo Musetti in the round prior in the round of 16, and now the Rublev win is his first top 10 scalp. Regardless of how he does against Sinner, the 22-year-old Bu has established himself for sure as a name to watch for 2025. In Japan, we have an all-French final between Arthur Fils and Hugo Humbert. Fils has had an unbelievable road to the final, beating 3 top 20 players en route. He first took down top seed Taylor Fritz in round 1, and in the quarterfinals he battled past cramps to down defending champion Ben Shelton in a 3-hour duel. Somehow, Arthur had enough left in the tank to beat Holger Rune in 2 tiebreak sets for a 2-hour and 22-minute finish there. This was a crazy effort from Arthur considering all the tennis that he has played in the past week. He showed also great resolve against Rune to stay the course after he lost 5 match points in that tiebreaker, and then he also saved 2 set points of his own to remain alive. I'm intrigued to see how he does in this final against Hugo Humbert. Arthur is looking for his 3rd career ATP title and his 2nd consecutive 500 after he won the Hamburg Open in July. This would not be easy against Humbert, who will be more well-rested, dropping only 1 set this tournament, which was in the semifinals against Thomas Mahach. Humbert also has a perfect 6-0 record in tour finals, and he leads the head-to-head with Arthur 4-0 on all levels, so it will not be easy for Fils. By the way, I hope Lacoste brings out a new outfit for one of them because they're literally wearing the same exact thing, so that's funny too. Now, what might not be a funny matter for a lot of fans is Emma Navarro. She received a lot of criticism once again from fans on Twitter, this time being called a vulture after signing up for this week's Hong Kong 125K tournament, which also sees the return of Simona Halep. 125 tournaments and Emma Navarro are like this. They go hand in hand. Now, 125s are the equivalent of ATP challengers, and they're really more designed to help the lower ranked players kind of build their ranking. Navarro herself used 125 tournaments to rise in the rankings last year, and this though will be her third 125 event of 2024, where she'll once again be the top seed. This is controversial because top 10 players are barred from playing in WTA 250 tournaments unless you are either the defending champion of said tournament or if the tournament is played in your home country. Although Navarro is currently ranked 8th in the world, she can play Hong Kong because her ranking was outside the top 10 when she signed up for the entry list. Cam Shriver made a good point in basically saying that the smoke should be more directed towards the WTA for making 1,000 tournaments like Beijing, Rome, and Madrid now 2 weeks long. Shriver said her charge, the 20th ranked Donna Vekic, would have even played Hong Kong herself if she did lose earlier in Beijing. Keep in mind that Navarro lost opening round in Beijing to Shuai Zhang, which meant that she'd have about a 2-week gap between that loss to Zhang and then her next match in the Wuhan 1000 tournament, which starts right after Beijing. That's why I believe the WTA needs to honestly reconsider making these 1,000 tournaments 2 weeks long because it might be doing more harm than good. Plus, a lot of players like Elena Rybakina have expressed disdain for having to play longer tournaments. There should be no reason that a top 10 player is playing challenger level tournaments, but when you consider the structure of the WTA calendar, you kind of can't fault Emma for playing it. Who are you going with between Coco and Naomi in Beijing? Do you think this match will live up to the hype? What about any men's predictions for the semifinals in China and for that all-French final in Tokyo? And do you think the WTA is to blame for Navarro taking advantage of that loophole, or is she just being too greedy? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below and subscribe and click the notification bell again so you're notified whenever I post my next video. Thank you all so much for watching and for your support, and I'll see y'all next time here on Christian's Court.